Welcome back to another video. Let's talk about CYBL. Can Cybl go to $1 organically? Let's look at the first thing, the charts. The last time we had a huge run up, and I mean huge, this thing went from a low of 0.001 to a high of 6.5 cents. Way back. It's been years, way back in 2021. Mid 2021, if you want to be specific. Huge run up. And then after that, it fell to where it is right now. If we look at the share structure, let's pull up the share structure here real quick. No, not. We don't care about ILIS right now. Get out of here. Let's pull up the share structure for CYBL. It's Pink Limited. We know it's got the CE designation. We're just waiting on OTCM. For those people still wondering and keep asking, oh my God, why don't you update? What's going on? There's nothing to update. It's on OTCM now for them to give them remove the CE more than anything and get us being current. Now, as for the share structure, it's almost maxed out. Authorized shares, 7 billion. Outstanding shares, let's round it up because it's almost at 6 billion. So there you go. 6 billion outstanding shares, authorized shares, 7 billion. So if they ever, I wouldn't be surprised if, it would not surprise me. Here's my prediction. It would not surprise me if in the future they end up having to increase the authorized shares. That kind of just I don't see them not doing that. That just tends to be the pattern with penny stocks. Let's keep it real. ILIS did it recently. AITX does it like all the time. That's kind of how it is with penny stocks, right? They're not public to not raise money. So it wouldn't surprise me in the future if, I shouldn't say if, when, well, let's hope that when they become pink current and get that CE removed, I would assume unless they're going to do share buybacks, which we know a lot of companies like to say that, but they never actually follow through. ILIS, I would assume they're going to increase this at some point, the authorized shares, and they're going to raise money if I'm sure they'll have to raise money right at some point. Let's just assume that worst case scenario, they increase the authorized shares and they'll dilute. Doesn't matter, the stock price will still move up when the CE gets removed and we'll take advantage. But that is kind of like, again, let's not pretend like penny stocks don't dilute, like they're not public and they're not there to raise money. They are there to raise money. But the share structure is not that of a low float. It's not like ASNS stock. And I mentioned this in another video. ASNS stock float. Let's see if I can pull it up. So ASNS stock, for those of you who don't know, recently, this is what it would take for Cybl stock to go to dollars, honestly. Because we couldn't even go to dollars back then. Back then, the highest we could go to is 6.5 cents. So not even 50 cents. Not even 50 cents. We couldn't achieve, not even that could we achieve. We couldn't even achieve 50 cents. It's not loading right now for some reason, but let's see if I can pull up the float. Where is the float? Show me the float. The float for ASNS stock is, see if I can find it here. There's the float. So shares outstanding, 5.01 million. Shares float, 4.68 million, by the way, not billion. This ain't no penny stock with billions and billions of outstanding shares or a float of 5 billion. It's 5 million. You know how much buying pressure it would take for this to explode? Not much. Because there's so little supply. So it's simple supply and demand, my friends. And as you can see, ASNS recently, it gapped up from 45 to a high of, oh, it almost hit $5. That was one hell of a move, really. It really was. And every time this thing drops news, it loves to have these huge gap ups and it can move dollars. Now, why is that, guys? Again, I just showed you why. Because of the share structure being so small. And that is my friends, that is what it would take. Unless Cybl is the one company, the one penny stock that's they're raking in so much money from the Department of Defense and all the contracts that they're getting on all the orders, that they have just so much money that they don't even have to dilute. They just decide, you know what, we got so much money, let's move to a higher exchange, let's offer dividends, and let's buy back shares. And they bring down the shares outstanding and the authorized shares to, I don't know, what, 5 million, I guess. And then they dropped some hot PRs that sent it dollars. So that's what it would take. I don't know if that's going to happen. That would be one historical penny stock move. I don't think I've ever seen a penny stock. If anyone knows a penny stock that actually did that, that actually brought their 5 billion outstanding shares down to 5 million, let me know if that exists. I would like to know which penny stock that was, but I just don't see it happening. And so that's the reality. We could barely break 6 cents. And I remember back then, everyone was getting excited, like, oh my God, we're at 6 cents. You know what's next? 10 cents, 25 cents. The CEO is going to get a bonus if he gets to 25 cents. So he's incentivized to get it to 25 cents. But yeah, that never happened. Everyone was talking about the OTC bull run. And yeah, that's that's a thing of the past. That never happened. This was the OTC bull run. And people were saying, "Oh no, the real one is coming next. You just wait. We're gonna go to dollars." And people were, a lot of people got bagged on a lot of penny stocks. That's kind of, it was a great time back here, but now you better make the adaptation necessary to make money in the markets, which is wait for it to bottom out, buy nice and cheap, and be patient. Patience pays with penny stocks. And then when accumulating down here, you're gonna make money when this thing gets its CE removed and is pink current and it drops some hot news, because again, it doesn't have a horrible share structure. It just doesn't have the kind of share structure necessary for it to gap up dollars, like I just showed you with ASNS. So unfortunately, that is the truth. I know some people don't want to hear that. They want to hear, yes, we're gonna go 20,000% tomorrow. We're back in 2021. We just went back in time for some reason, and it's 2021 all over again. You throw your money at a penny stock, it goes up 1,000, 10,000, 20,000% the next day, and then you rotate that money into some other penny stock that's ready to blow, and you buy in and you load up, and after the fact, you're just like, oh my God, I just made so much money, and all I did was just throw a bunch of cash at some random penny stock. We're not living in those times anymore. The only thing left over are the good companies with real products, real revenues, and not the scam ones that just pump and dump and that were diluting it as soon as it would run up. Yeah, there were. Let's be real. 2021, a lot of pump and dumps. The only thing left over are the real companies, and the ones that are gonna make a lot of investors a lot of money are the ones that are willing to adapt to the new OTC, and the ones that do their due diligence and don't just listen to a YouTuber, but also the ones that believe in their company and that are willing to buy and hold when it's cheap more than anything. We'll see how it goes. It's been 3 years since I started covering ILIS, CYBL, and AITX. And of those three, honestly, the one that I'm seeing as a winner in the future is AITX, and ILIS. No, not ILIS. AITX and Cybl. Cybl, if it really does get that CE removal, and yeah, and it becomes pink current, we're gonna see this thing. It's gonna be above a penny, which is gonna be already better than ILIS and AITX. So it's gonna be funny to see which one of these are the real, real deal. Maybe AITX is the next Monster Energy. Maybe it's Cybl. Maybe it's ILIS. Maybe ILIS comes back and shows us something. But other than that, there you go, guys. It's been one hell of a 3 years. Hopefully, you guys aren't holding too big of a bag. And hopefully, if you are holding a bag, it's on some good companies. Like, if I had to rank AITX, ILIS, and Cybl, as of today, I would rank AITX at the top because it's an AI stock, and we're in the infancy right now of AI, so it doesn't have that major widespread adoption like the internet does now. The internet back then, if you guys remember it not everyone had it. It's not until like what, late 2000s that it was kind of just the thing you needed to have. And so we're not there yet with AI. You don't see AI everywhere yet. You don't see it in homes everywhere yet. So we still got a long way to go. There is definitely going to be a lot of opportunity with that one. So AITX number one on my list. Number two, Cybl. Despite it being in CE, I have to getting contracts with the Department of Defense. That's huge. I mean, look at Palantir. Look at Palantir. Let's see, Palantir. Look at Palantir. $27 on its way to Wow, this thing is on its whoa! I haven't been keeping track of this. It's on its way to 30. It's actually about to break out. I have not talked about Pltr in a long time. Excuse the gas, but yeah, whew, this thing is. Look at that. And this one gets a lot of Department of Defense contracts all the time. All the time. It always gets new contracts, renewals. So I have to put Cybl as number two. And finally, I know Eyeless shareholders, if you're watching this, Eyeless is just not, that's not the one you want to buy. I think you want to wait for Eyeless to prove that it's actually a real company, anyways, because I'm starting to doubt that one. So yeah, that's how I would rank them: AITX, Cybl, then Eyeless. Actually, Cybl, I believe they just got a partnership with someone that uses a lot of AI technology. So uh, look, anything getting into AI, I think that's where the money's at. And that's it for the video. I've been rambling too long, making too many comparisons. But a dollar, I think, yes, we can get to dollars, but boy, would they have to buy back a lot of shares.